welcome to the United Stand. Wolverhampton Wanderers, Wolves versus Manchester United. The preview plus all the latest Manchester United news. Let's do it. And I tell you what, let's just start off and say straight away, this game against Wolves, we've got to wait till Monday night for it, but not a lot's going to change. United are in a situation where they don't really have any injury record. They've got a big decision to make, and Wolves the same. You know, they played pretty well against Leicester last week away from home, and very compact as usual. And that's the big decision that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got, and many different people with many different fingers in pies, because that's how it works when you're a fan of United, have got lots of different theories. Stick with the same winning team. Just go with the same winning team, Mark. That's the way to do it. No, don't do that. Tactically, we were inept when we went to Wolves twice last season and the game at Old Trafford. They did outdo us tactically. We've got to be aware of what they do. They've got a very good record against the top six sides. So what do you do? And to be honest with you, if we go with the same team that we played against Chelsea, which was effectively a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-2-2-2 or however you want to say it, at times, against Chelsea, we lost the midfield battle and we won the game because we hit them on the break, counter-attacking football, and we were clinical. That won't work against Wolves. That will not work against Wolves. You will not catch them out on the break very often. They're a very compact team. You can say they play a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2, however you want to call it. They can do 3-4-3, and they have brought a player from Italy called Catroni or something like that, who will allow Nuno to play the 3-4-3. I don't think he's going to do that against Manchester United. I really don't. I think they will go with their usual 3-5-2 or 5-3-2 when they've got the ball. And as we know from playing Wolves in the past, especially the 2 away games last season, we matched up. Ollie matched up with them and he went with a sort of 5-3-2 himself. Ashley Young got sent off in one game. Fred made a mistake in the other game. That may well have been the same game. But the reality is, they were a carbon copy. We had loads of possession, we didn't create enough chances, and they hurt us on the break. And that will happen again. And Wolves are very inept at doing it. They're very good at doing it. And Manchester United need to be wise to that. I would not go with the same team. I would set us up as a 3-5-2. I don't think it's worked that well with Ollie in the past, but it certainly worked well with Mourinho. And I think there's very few teams that you're going to want to adapt to how you play against. But Wolves, there's something about Wolves. There's something about Mary, what a film. But there's something about Wolves that really does cause problems for the top six sides, but doesn't cause problems for teams below. If you look at where Wolves lost points last season, a lot of the games they're losing points to are Huddersfield and people like that. Because when they play a team who's on their level or below them, Wolves can't get away with this soak-up, compact play and hurt them on the break. It works perfectly against teams that are better than you. In fact, we did it at Old Trafford last Sunday against Chelsea. We soaked up a bit of pressure and we hurt them on the break. And that's what Wolves do. So United, you know, what are you going to do? Sit back and they're going to sit back and you're just going to play out a 0-0? That's an option, but I think United have got to try and win this game. That to me is why Paul Pogba is absolutely essential. I don't want to see Pogba and McTominay sat deep. I want Pogba in a freer role. And when I say a freer role, in a midfield three with the licence to get forward, because we'll have a lot of ball in the final third. It means sacrificing Andreas Pereira, as you can see with my team there. Someone told me Henderson is better than Pogba, says Tex05. Trophies don't mean anything. In fact, Liverpool fans, they're really actually doing themselves in there, saying Henderson's better than Pogba. Why is he better than Pogba? He's holding a Champions League at a super club. Okay, why do you always say Gerrard's better than Scholes then, when he's never held a Premier League title? You know, it's not about trophies. And also, Pogba's got a World Cup. Sit down, World Cup. I mean, Pogba's way better than Henderson. Pogba's the best midfielder in the league on his day. He's just got to do his day consistency. And I think also, I've got the wrong number for Martial. That is disgusting, isn't it? That's absolutely disgusting. But what I have got for you is, we'll be talking about it in a moment, Martial versus Rashford, who will be the top scorer? You've been asking for polls for ages. And not Graham poll. We've got a proper poll. Top right hand corner, click the eye, get involved. We're going to do it live. Vote. Who will score more goals this season, Martial or Rashford? We'll talk about that in a moment, but you can click the eye in the top right hand corner and you can vote in the poll. So don't say we don't get you involved. We do. That's what we do on this channel. But Pogba absolutely essential in this game for Manchester United, and how we're going to do against Wolves. And I would go with that team there. I'd go with Maguire, Lindelof and Twansebi, because he's shown with Twansebi on the bench that that's his number one backup centre-back. So you go with the back three there. You put Wan-Bissaka on the right, you put Shaw on the left. You go in the midfield, you've got to have a sitter, and McTominay's the sitter. You don't need to have 2 sitters against Wolves. You don't need to do that. You need 1 sitter, and you need 2 midfielders, which I would go with Pogba and Lingard, who've got great energy and are going to move the ball and try and, pass and move and create space. I'd go Pogba and Lingard, and then your front 2, Rashford and Martial. And I think it needs to be a front 2, because the way Wolves play with their back 3, we saw it against Wolves last season. I think Lukaku did it and got absolutely bullied. If you play with 1 up front against Wolves, they're going to get swallowed up, 3-on-1. You've got to get 2 up front, and I think Rashford and Martial would work well in that. And then the midfield 3, and then the 3 centre-backs, and then Shaw and Wan-Bissaka become absolutely essential. That's how I would do it. I was a big advocate of, stick with the same team, go with the same team against Chelsea. But we've had our fingers burnt too many times against Wolves, and it's not just exclusive to Manchester United. It's happened with City. It's happened with Arsenal. It's happened with Chelsea. They've done it to most of the top 6 sides. And we have got to be aware of that. There's nothing wrong with going to Molineux and setting up in a way that's going to make it difficult for Wolves. And I think if we set up the same way we did at Old Trafford, will actually make it easier for Wolves. And what we need to come out of that game with, I want 3 points, and that's why Pogba's key. Give Pogba a little bit more freedom in this game, and let's get at Wolves in that final third. Let's be moving. And I think Lingard, Rashford, Martial and Pogba showed really good understanding against Chelsea. And it's not like you're knocking it into Lukaku and it's going to bounce into bloody Birmingham. This is an opportunity for quick movement of the ball in and around the box. Let's have some shots. Let's create some chances. And the great thing about United now is we should be shooting from 30 or 40 yards more, because if you force a save from the keeper, what happens then? You might get a corner. Then what happens? Slabhead's coming up, back of the net. I can't wait for Harry Maguire to score for a corner, by the way. Welcome to Paul McMillan, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Remember to smash a like on the video, everybody. This game will decide if Ollie is the man for me, because we know he can play counter-attacking football, but what can he do against a team that sits back, says the one. Look, I fell out with Wolves fans last time. It infuriated me how we lost to them last time, both games. Because Wolves are a good team, and Nuno's a tactical manager, and they're very good at keeping possession. But what they do is they soak up like a sponge, and then they squirt you in the face. And while you're going like that, they go and score up the other end. It's a very, very clinical way of playing, and it's a very frustrating way to lose. And at times, it felt to me that they were sitting back so much against us. Most of their team was in the stand behind the goal. They were sitting so far back. But it is a huge test. It's a massive test for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I think there's too much positivity around United this week. And can you ever have too much positivity? Well, of course you can, because naivety might slip in. I'm very positive this week, and I'm very, very excited, but I'm not to the extent that some people are. I mean, United, United's a brand, isn't it? Some of the stuff that's been coming out this week, we'll talk about in a moment, but all the happy, clappy, smiling, and, oh, look at me, roll over, and tickle me, all these happy, it's great, because it portrays a positivity, and we've had a lot of negativity around United, so I don't fault United for that, but the realist in me is like, look, this is all great, but this will come crashing down if we get beat 2 or 3-0 on Monday. And that could happen. It's a very, very hard game. So I'm not dismissing the positivity. That is absolutely great. But I'm awake to the fact that this is a game that we lost last season twice. And if we lose, we've got 3 points from 6, and we've made the same mistakes as last season. I can see what's going to happen if we lose to Wolves in the same way to last season. Everyone will say, we've learnt nothing, we're still tactically naive, we were a bit lucky against Chelsea, and where are we going to end up this season? We're not going to get top 4. You can write the headlines, and they're probably going to be coming from my mouth as well, because that's probably how we will feel. But we're not there yet. We've got an opportunity here, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be awake to that. But it's a big, big test. I looked at these first 2 games against Chelsea and Wolves, and I was like, Chelsea's a game you've got to win. Wolves is a game you've got to win, and Wolves away is probably the harder game of the 2. So I'm really excited about it, and I don't know what you lot think. I would change it. I would change it, because I think with Maguire and Lindelof and Twansebi as a back 3 as well. Remember one of those games last season we had Jones and Smalling. I mean, great. So with those 3, Maguire, Twansebi and Lindelof, all 3 of them can bring the ball out from the back, and they're all tactically very well aware. Would you throw Axel in the back line this quick, says Adam Smith? He's on the bench, mate. He was on the bench at the weekend, so I think you've got to go with that. I really do think you've got to put him in, and you know what? Rojo's unhappy that he didn't get his move to Everton on the final day of the season. He's not, mate, no matter how upset you are, we're a lot more upset than that. So, Rojo, Jones and Smalling, they're fighting for who gets in the dressing room, let alone the bench. Ollie's closing the door on them, but I don't want no reserves in here. So, you know, that's what they're fighting for. So you can understand, you know, Tuanzebe was on the bench last week. That he is the third choice centre-back. He's not going on loan. He's better than Jones and Smalling and Rojo in Ollie's eyes and in our eyes. So it's great. I think what Ollie's doing is very reciprocal of what we think. And what I certainly don't want to see on Monday is Matic in the team. He's got to resist that. He's got to resist the Matic and Mata thing. And I think he will. I think he will. And that is how I would go against Wolves. It's a little bit unfortunate on Pereira, who obviously he didn't play particularly well against Chelsea, but he grew into the game. He's got a lot of energy. He got an assist. But this is the thing. Sometimes you've got to tactically change it, and Tuanzebe sets forward. And, you know, Daniel James might think, well, I probably deserve to start because of my cameo. You don't, but, you know, that hunger has to be there with the team. And I think, you know, I'm looking forward to it, and I will give you my score prediction because that's what we do. My score prediction against Wolves, I'm going to go with, well, get yours in the live comments as well. I'm going to go United to win it 2-1. I think it'll be a tight game. I do think it'll be a tight game, but I fancy United to win it. And I think, you know what? We're on the cusp of something here, because if we do beat Wolves, you take 6 points from your first 2 games, 2 difficult games. Of course, there could be more difficult. You know, we could have got Liverpool or Man City, but beyond Liverpool, Man City, and maybe Spurs, that's a very hard start to the season. You come out of that with 6 points. You got Palace at home the following Saturday. You think, well, get that. You got 9 points. Then I think we've got Leicester away, which is another tough one. But if you get even a point there, 10 points from your first 4 games, you probably take that for a team that wants to finish top 4. If we beat Leicester and Palace as well, you know, 12 points from 4 games, you're like, bloody hell, this is a really good start. So we're on the cusp of something. A lot of people saying 2-0. Uktash Singh, FPS Conky and Dan Tierney, hat-trick, 2-0s in a row. As does 3-0 says Vivito United. Bradley Arandi says 3-1. A lot of positivity. This is what I'm on about. It's a lot of positivity. But I know in the back of everyone's head, we're like, oh, God, what's going to happen if we don't win? But, you know, we've got to be positive. Of course we have. Looking at, look, let me just talk about this as well very, very quickly. Evening with Ryan Giggs and Mark Goldbridge, the United Stand in October. Links in the video description. It's in Birmingham. It's our second United Stand meetup. A week ago today, we were in London. We had a fantastic night. We're taking it up a level. We've got another one planned after this, which is going to be our Christmas do. But obviously, we're not going to release the details of that until the Ryan Giggs one is all sold out. So we've got 2 really good do's coming up. This one's brilliant. Ryan Giggs on stage with me and Flex. United Stand meetup with Ryan Giggs. Did I tell you Ryan Giggs is there? Links in the video description. Get on it. Lots of people. It's a proper evening. It's a proper meal. It's proper entertainment. It's not £5 for a bloody free drinks voucher. This is proper, like, you can buy tables. They're quite expensive, but it's Ryan Giggs at the end of the day. It's suited and booted. You can bring your other half. He can wear a suit as well, or she, if she's in a dress, whatever. And the link's in the video description, so get involved with it. Really good night. Can't wait for it. And you know what we do on the United Stand. It's not going to be easy questions. I've got a few lined up already. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Link in the video description. Also, just want to say... Rashford, Martial, you can see we've got them up front there in this game against Wolves. They will both play whatever the formation. Who do you think is going to score more goals this season? Because I saw somebody saying today, who's going to score more goals today this season, Marcus Rashford or Aubameyang? And it's a bit like saying to Arsenal, who's going to score more goals, Aubameyang or Lacazette? Because they both, you know, either or. I know Aubameyang did it last year. You can vote on this. I'm very interested. In fact, I can come in and out here. Let's have a look. Because it is a live poll. If you click the eye in the top right-hand corner, you can vote. I don't think I've voted yet, but if I do it as well... I haven't seen the result yet, so let me just wait for this to come through. But I think Anthony Martial. I think Anthony Martial. Because he is far, far a better finisher than Rashford. I know Rashford's got a head start on him at the moment, but I think Anthony Martial. I really do. I think Anthony Martial will score more goals. I'm going to vote for him now. Tell you what, on the vote so far, this is brilliant. I love it. And this is exciting because Marcus Rashford and Martial were my 2 favourite players at United for a long, long time. They disappointed me last year towards the end of it, but they can get back to being like favourites in my mind, although Harry Maguire has sort of took over my heart. I love Harry Maguire. I just love big, strong, dominant centre-backs. Vidic, I loved Vidic, and I think Harry Maguire is going to be a bit like that. But the score at the moment on the voting from you lot is Anthony Martial 50%, Marcus Rashford 50%, which is great, isn't it? You know, so yeah, I want us all to remember this, and thanks for the contribution, Paulus Latian. I think Martial will score more goals, and I do believe one of them is going to get over 20 goals. I think both of them could, but I think one of them's definitely going to go over 20 goals. And yeah, I'm going to go Martial because I think he's the better finisher. And I thought low-key, his performance against Chelsea was absolutely superb. Some of the movement, some of the link-ups, the hard work, it was a fantastic performance. But Wolves is another step for Rashford and Martial. You can do it at home against Chelsea, it's a big game. Can you do it away at Wolves? Big eyes on them on Monday night. Big eyes on somebody else as well. A lot of people saying Martial, a lot of people saying Rashford, which is great. And Usani Viad says 25 goals each. We'd all love a bit of that. But Luke Shaw's in the house. He says, I will score the first goal. I'd love you to score the first goal and sit rants down. That would be absolutely funny. But what I wanted to say as well is, I did the video yesterday about Alexis Sanchez and how there's reports coming out of United that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to move him on. Then there was another story about there's interest from Italy and Sanchez might move on. Then there was another story this morning saying that Sanchez is going to resist the move and make sure that he stays at United. I don't really care about any of that. What I do care about is don't pick him. If Ollie doesn't want him to be here or he's going to force a stay because he doesn't want to go, don't pick him. 400k a week is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's problem and it's not his fault. It's Ed Woodward's fault and it's Jose Mourinho's fault, and they can deal with that. And when the Glazers are saying, why are we paying $2 million a month to somebody who's not even playing, I'd just say, not my problem. I didn't want him at the club. I inherited him. It was your mistake. I can't build a club on him. So whatever's true about Alexis Sanchez, you'll note that I've not mentioned him on my team and I wouldn't have him on my bench. The attacking options against Wolves should be Greenwood and James. And if one of those get moved off the bench to so Alexis Sanchez can occupy a space, I'll be mightily pissed off, to be honest with you. Daniel James came on and scored a goal. Mason Greenwood's the next big thing. Sit down, Sanchez. Sit down with your dogs. Feed him a bonio. You're not getting on our bench. But he might. He might slip on because he might have something contractually, or there might be an obligation. Ollie might feel the pressure that he's got to put a 400 grand, the best paid player in the Premier League, on the bench. Forget about it. The only bench he should be sitting on is a bloody piano bench. And he's crap at that. So Manchester United, I would just not play Sanchez. If he refuses to go, let him play with the kids. And I mean like the youngsters, nothing like that. Yeah, I don't know whether I'm being I'm not being harsh because I truly believe it. I look at that, barring injuries. If someone gets injured, Sanchez comes on the bench. But as of now, with no injuries, it's Rashford and Martial. And then on the bench, it's Daniel James and Greenwood. That's it. He doesn't get on the bench as far as I'm concerned. Mark Goldbridge loves big sweaty men, says Lincoln Jack Dommy. I'd expect a little bit more from you, Lincoln, to be honest with you. This will never happen. He will go with the same formation and team versus Chelsea, says 94 Hussein. He might do, and if he does, I will applaud Solskjaer because I liked the starting lineup against Chelsea. 100% I did like it, and I don't have a problem if he sticks the same team. What I'm saying is there's no shame in changing your tactics for Wolves away. There's not many games I'd change United's tactics. I would, if we were playing Burnley, or we were playing Brighton, or we were playing Spurs away, whatever, I'd go with the same team as last week. But Wolves present a very unique problem in the Premier League for everybody. They play this compact, deep-lying side that hurt you on the break, whether they're at home or not, and it causes problems for the top six sides. So United, I think if we did go with the 4-2-3-1 or the 4-2-2, however anybody reads it, I think we'd be in problem. I think we'd have problems. But I'd be excited if we did that. I just wouldn't personally do it. A few people saying that Maguire's their favourite player as well. Jay Richardson, opinion on interview with Neville on Sky Sports, says Jay. I thought that Gary. I think Gary's just very pro-Solskjaer. I don't think he's pro-Glazers. I think he's pro-Solskjaer and he's pro-giving him time and patience. And I think he knows if he mentions about transfers, etc., then that will just build a little bit of pressure onto, it gets the fans agitated. And no matter what, if the results go bad, it always falls on the manager. I don't think Gary Neville trusts the Woodward and the Glazers. I think he knows that if things go bad, then Ollie will get the sack because they'll sack him. They will do that. So I don't think Gary is protecting the Glazers. I think he's protecting Ollie. What I did disagree with him was about when he said, you know, who misses Herrera, who misses Fellaini. Well, you know, everybody's got a weakness in a football opinion. Just because you were one of Man United's best right backs ever doesn't mean that your football opinion is infallible. Which Ryan Giggs is going to find out when we have our interview, isn't it? But no, I love these people as legends of Manchester United, but I don't love their opinions. Just because you're a respected legend of the club doesn't mean your opinions are great. I mean, look, you know, Roy Keane's my favourite idol ever in a United shirt, and he comes out with that. Luke Shaw, when he broke his leg, he said it was a good tackle. It was a vicious tackle. So you don't have to, you don't have to agree with everybody's opinion, do you? Mark, what's your views on Fosu Mensah as a backup right back and Delo? Says Mohammed Ashan. Well, Fosu Mensah is going to be out till Christmas, so yeah, it's going to be a problem for him to get back in. And ultimately, I thought he was going to be let go in the summer. I'd like to see him be given a chance, but you know, he's had 2 loans, and that's a conversation for next year. To be honest, we'll have to wait and see. I do like him, but I don't know whether he's quite there. Lincoln Jack Donmy, here he goes. He says it's a reference to a YouTube wrestling channel called Cultaholic. Some guys in the live chat might have got it, some didn't. Sorry if you didn't. Forgive. Mate, I absolutely forgive you. I don't watch that channel, so I don't get the reference. And Matt Rush says, Mark, I feel we're slowly getting our great club back. Ollie slowly getting rid of the Deadwood baby face assassin. And Spartan N. Jones says, bench will be Romero, Jones, Young, Pereira, Matic, Greenwood and James. If we went for that formation, 4-3-3 makes us have Twansibi on the bench still. Yeah. As long as Sanchez ain't on the bench, I can deal with it. And there's a few people saying Pereira must start. Look, I haven't got a problem with him picking the same team. What I'm saying is, I just think, do we want to win against Wolves? And yeah, we do. And I think if we go with the same team as Chelsea, we might have problems. Whereas if we match up with the way Wolves play, we'll get on the front foot. And I think we've got the players to hurt them. It's about dealing with what their formation is. And I think if we go with the formation we played last week, we might get swamped in the middle. Whereas if we go with this formation, I think we'll be in a better position. But look, I'm excited either way. I really am. I want to just go back to transfers for a moment, because there's a story that's come out today about this one. I've been wanting to speak about this all day. Please smash a like on the video, everybody, and make sure you subscribe if you're new. I've just noticed we're only 60 subscribers away from 535,000 subscribers. It's very rare that we're sort of live when something's within touching distance. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please click in the bottom right hand corner and subscribe. And if you have subscribed, please click the share button, because that might get some new people to come in who get us over while we're live. We always like to hit a target while we're live. Carton, most people just want to hit this target, but there you go. Karam Sabu says, Wolves have Europa match tonight. Will it impact Monday? No, and I purposely haven't mentioned it, Kareem, because they're like 4 or 5-0 up already, aren't they? And I don't think they'll pick a lot of their players that they're going to play on Monday anyway. And actually, as we're about to find out with Europa League, the killer about Europa League is playing Thursday, Sunday. Playing Thursday, Monday, they'll be all right with that, because that's the same as Champions League. That's like playing Tuesday, Wednesday to Sunday, isn't it? They'll be fine with that. They'll be absolutely fine. What I wanted to say is this. Also, Fred doesn't make the bench either, because he wasn't on the bench last week. You've got to try and keep the same squad as last time. I think, and that includes the bench for me. I don't think anybody's done enough to be thrown off the bench either. What I wanted to say is this. Wolves are playing their B team, says Joshua Melville. Thank you, Joshua. There's a story that's come out today that Manchester United pulled out of a deal for Bruno Fernandes. Now, that's interesting in itself. No, let me shut up, Mark. Tell him the story first. There's a story today from the Daily Mail and then the ESPN saying that Manchester United pulled out of a deal for Bruno Fernandes because he gives the ball away too much and doesn't fit in with their possession-based style of play. Right? 2 things with that. 1, I thought we weren't in for Bruno Fernandes. I thought the club was saying that they weren't in for him. Oh, but now there's a story saying we were in for him, but we decided against it because of his problems with keeping possession, right? So that's a contradiction straight away. It's all a load of nonsense, but that's a contradiction. The second one is Manchester United don't want to sign Bruno Fernandes because he doesn't fit in with our possession-based style of football because he takes too many risks with his passing. Right, okay. What possession style football is this then that United play? Last week against Chelsea, at times Chelsea had 70% possession. Milan in pre-season, the same. Leeds, the same. Inter Milan, the same. Spurs, the same. Last season, the same. We are not a possession-based side. We're not a possession-based side. We're a counter-attacking, high-intensity team. That's what we are under Ollie. He wants to play on the front foot. He doesn't want to dawdle with it. Some people confuse it with what Mourinho did, because Mourinho wasn't a possession-based team either. Mourinho gifted possession, but when he got the ball, it was very pragmatic. It was all, there wasn't a lot of, as we saw, first 2 months of Ollie, everyone was brilliant. Then they got knackered because they weren't used to that intensity. What we'll hopefully see this season is a fitter team that can do it for longer. Manchester United under Mourinho, under Ollie, it's chalk and cheese. They're very, very different. But neither style is a possession-based game. Ollie's game is not possession. We've seen that. We gift up possession. We let teams have the ball, and then we want the ball back quickly. We don't want them to keep the ball, but it's a high-intensity game. There's a press. When we get the ball, people think if you're gifting up possession, right, you're sitting back. We don't sit back. We do try and win the ball back at high intensity, but when we get the ball, we don't keep it for long. Like, we can win the ball back in the final third, but we don't keep it for long. It's all about winning the ball back and moving the ball quickly before the opposition can move into position, which is why it was so effective against Chelsea. So to say United are not interested in Bruno Fernandes because he doesn't fit in with our possession style of football, I think they've confused us with Man City, because Bruno Fernandes would be perfect for United. He likes to get a shot off. He likes to get a pass off. He's quick and he's intense. He's perfect for our system. I just thought the whole story was a nonsense. United weren't in for Bruno Fernandes because he doesn't fit in with our style of play. Absolute nonsense. We don't play a possession-based football. At worst, I think that story's been released by whoever to make the club look good. To go, we didn't want him because he doesn't fit in with our style of play. But whatever you think about Bruno Fernandes, we've got to move on from that. But the most important thing is, whether it's Bruno Fernandes or not, they should have bought 2 midfielders this summer. And they should have bought at least one. They didn't replace Herrera. That is a shambles. So whatever you think about that story, that is a shambles that we didn't bring a midfielder in. Even if that story is true, which I don't think it is, all right, go and get someone else then. You didn't get him, go and get someone else. You didn't get anyone. So, forgive me if I just find it all a little bit nonsensical. What it feels like is, everybody's positive about Ollie and the team. Quick, Glazers. Throw something in there that makes us get less pressure as well, because we all know we are all positive. But the minute it goes wrong, we're not going in on the manager and the players. We're going in on the board. And the board are thinking, we need some of that positivity. Let us into your gang, Ollie, so we don't. Let us in the tent so we don't get tomatoed either. No, the tent is zipped and padlocked. Don't open it, Paul. They can get the pelters. So, yeah. Look, the reality is with this season, they should have bought more midfielders. They didn't, and we are going for it with what we've got, and we're very positive about that. But let's not pretend they shouldn't have bought midfielders, because they should have done, and that's on the board. £70 million net spend. They're having a laugh. Talking about money being spent, though, Lindelof is looking like he's going to get a new contract. We know that there was interest. His agent even spoke about it in the summer. Obviously angling for a new contract. I don't think he was ever angling for a move to Barcelona. I think Barcelona would like to take him. Looks good, Lindelof, doesn't he? He does look good. Apparently he's only on 70 grand a week. They're going to double his wages up to 150. I ain't got a problem with that. I'm sure you haven't got a problem with that. I think 150 grand a week for someone like Lindelof, he deserves a new contract. So yeah, I'm happy to hear that is going on, because I think we've got this issue of letting contracts run down. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. Man United sold club's highest striker for less than a new centre-back they signed, says Tara Baskaren. Don't really understand what that relevance is. I would have 4-2-1-3 with the same back five, Pogba and McSaw sitting deep, Lingard at the CAM position, Dan James on the right, Martial up top, and Rashford on the left. Yeah, could work. Well, I mean, there are variations, of course there are. It's just whether you go. Waka Waka says, a Ryan Giggs Q&A on this channel. It's a Ryan Giggs Q&A event. It's not on this channel. It's an event. The link is in the video description. Get yourself over to it. We've already got people flying in. Look, it's the biggest event we've ever hosted. Ryan Giggs, United Stand, Q&A on stage. It's going to be a fantastic evening. Get your tickets. Link in the video description. It's not on the channel. Paul, not enough technical players, says George Kyle. My favourite player is actually Andres Pereira, says the T4D. Would Lindelof and Swansea be a good partnership, says Zane Jordan. Irrelevant unless Harry Maguire gets injured. Schmeichel and Neville confirmed De Gea contract, says Patrick St. Pierre. Well, I think we all know that David De Gea is going to sign this contract. He put a picture out today of himself in the United top, and hopefully he will be announcing it very soon. I mean, the club. I mean, it's another thing. It's another positive thing, is it? The club are going to announce that very soon, and I hope so. I hope they do. We know it's going to happen, but I suppose it's that breathe easy when it does. Will it be shown on YouTube, Mark? The event, says Jake Bullman. I don't know what the plan is with what we're going to show from it. It won't. I don't think we'll be able to live stream it. It's very, very difficult. I'm sure we might be able to compile something, but having said that, I don't know, because we are running it with Showfighter as well, the promo, so I don't know what they're going to do. The reality is, it's a United Stand event with Showfighter. We're going to be on stage with Ryan, asking him questions, etc. And of course, you can ask questions on the night if you're there, but as it stands at the moment, it's an event like the meetup last week, which we didn't put up, did we? So that's the situation. So link in the video description, get your tickets if you want to be there. It's going to be fantastic. And some people might just want to buy a ticket just to meet me or Flex or Rance. But yeah, it's going to be good. George Ramos says, Mark, are you friends with, and why don't you do the Wolves starting lineup for the Wolves fans? George Ramos, I don't need to speak about them. And I don't need to do a Wolves starting lineup because it's not a Wolves fan channel. You're a little troublemaker, you are, George, aren't you? That's what you are. Pogba unhappy, he wants to leave, but United won't let him, says Tony Manoni. Look, I saw this before I came live, and I thought, shall I talk about it? And I thought, no, because we don't want to bring any negativity unless there's something to be negative about. And basically, Marca are saying that Pogba's still hopeful that he'll get moved to Real Madrid before September the 2nd. What I will say to you now is, if Paul Pogba leaves Manchester United before September the 2nd, then we're screwed. We're absolutely screwed, and I'm already not happy with the board and what they did in the transfer window anyway. But this would be, if you thought the transfer window not buying a midfielder was a kick in the nuts, if we sell Pogba as well, that's like them grabbing your nuts and twisting them round and round and round 20 times. As we know, that would be very, very painful, and you probably aren't going to get over it for at least a year. So you just can't take, how can I sit here tonight and say Paul Pogba's the fundamental player to get us the win at Wolves? Imagine if Pogba's not there. Like, take Paul Pogba off that picture there. And that might happen this season because of injury, but take that picture, take Pogba off there, put Pereira in. That team becomes very weak. Very weak. And, the back five's strong. Marcus Rashford and Martial are strong, but if you've got no heart, if your heart's weak, doesn't matter how fast you run, you're going to collapse. What an analogy that is. Oh, off the top of my head as well. Absolutely superb. But it's true. Your legs, your defence can be absolutely brilliant. Your brain, your attack can be absolutely spot on. But if your heart's weak, you're going to collapse. And you might die. And we need a strong heart. That's the midfield. We need a strong heart. And Pogba, I don't think we have got a strong heart, but Pogba makes it strong if he can be consistent, if he can get the blood flowing. And you take Pogba out of that midfield, it doesn't matter what's around him. It's the mint with the hole again, isn't it? It's a polo. We cannot let Pogba go. And also, I just think I think even Real Madrid have accepted that, which is why Zidane's getting annoyed. But United just cannot let him go. We've got to that point now where it's never right to force a player who is adamant they want to go. It's not, you shouldn't do that. But we've left ourselves in that situation. I cannot see how Pogba leaves. So I've not really mentioned it because I just don't want to be sensationalist. I just cannot see it happening. I would be stunned, and nothing stuns me, but I would be stunned if we let him go. Andrew Chow says, Mark, this Wolves games makes me nervous. Not sure if Ollie has the tactical nous to beat these well-drilled teams. Fear is Ollie is reactive, not proactive. I don't know. I think Ollie is... I think he reacts a bit slow, if I'm honest, tactically. But you're right. I'm very excited about this game because there's so much in a United fan's head at the moment. Like, there's so much. Sanchez, Pogba, the midfield. Are we going to score the goals? The back five's brilliant. There's so much to talk about. What we often lose sight of, and I think we'd all agree with this, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually going to be good enough? Like, we don't have the answer to that question. We all love him. We all want him to be a success. We're all going to give him the patience. Ollie at the wheel and all that. Nothing. There's no better scenario than this man being a success at that football club. But only a liar says he will be, because there's no evidence of it. You know, a Norwegian team that did well. I'm sorry, that's not much of a CV. Cardiff got him relegated, but that was a long time ago. First 3 months at United, stunning. Last 3 months, terrible. So we don't know how good this manager is. We've had glimpses that he can be brilliant. We've had glimpses that it might be a flash in the pan. So this game against Wolves and this season, yeah, you're right. It's a big insight to what he can do tactically. And I think he's going to achieve. I do. And I know a lot of that's about hope, but I think he will achieve. But you're right. If he was tactically found out, you would start to think, is he ever going to be the manager, or is it going to take time, or will it never happen, or is he unlucky? I don't know. I think he's going to be the right man. I think he's so focused on the job, and I think he does have traits that will make him successful. But you're right. The jury has. It doesn't matter how much we love Ollie. The jury has to be out on him until he proves us consistently right or wrong. And the last few months we've had good and we've had bad. This season's the big point. If we have half a season good and half a season bad again, you've got an inconsistent manager. If you have mostly bad, you've got a bad manager. If you have mostly good, hey, we've got the right man. And I think that's what's going to happen. But that's why I was always frustrated about the transfer window, because I was like, realistically, whatever he is as a manager, he's having to do it with two arms tied behind his back, and I think that was unfair. I think I wanted to judge Ollie on a proper midfield, and he hasn't got that. So there are factors, but yeah, it's going to be a big game on Monday. It's going to be a big game. Stephen Ballarud says, play high press and take risk passes in defence, counter-attack. If Wolves score the first goal, can react and win the game. Yeah, there's so much to watch on that game, because we know what Wolves are going to do. They're going to be compact. It's very hard to get into their penalty box. They have like 3 centre-backs. They all close in together. They get the midfield in front of the defence. Very hard team to break down. I think long shots are key. They've got a good goalkeeper, but I think long shots are key, which is, again, Pogba's got a long shot on him. McTominay can do it as well if he can get close enough, as can Rashford. I think long shots are key. Let's get corners. Let's get deflections. Try and pass your way through Wolves, and they can keep you out. They did it to Man City, didn't they? So I think we've got to mix it up. Mark, mate, I said it last year. Scotty has a future at United rather than Preston, as you said. Also, I think Pogba will sign a contract. Mark my new words. George, I think, well, let's deal with your first one. I love these people who predict players are going to be great, and then when they do turn out to be great, they go, oh, I told you so. I never saw anything in Scott McTominay last season that would make me think he was a good player, which is why I said I think he'll end up playing for Preston. Something's changed over the summer, and I still am not totally convinced. He's not there yet. He's very similar to Ollie, but actually, I said it in the summer. I've got a funny feeling he's going to have a good season this year, and I hope he does. I've always said I hope he does, because he's come through the youth setup since 8 years of age. You want a player like that to be successful, and I think a lot of United fans were giving him stick last season and called him, he was definitely Mourinho's pet. And I don't think Mourinho got the best out of him at all. And I think Ollie is Ollie is showing us a player that we just couldn't see a year ago. You couldn't see what he was all about. He had no desirable attribute. It was all very average. Whereas now we're starting to see, he has got that in his locker. He needs to develop it. He's got that as well. He needs to develop it. Fair play, George, if you guessed that he would be a good player last season. But I personally, I'm not going to lie and be a flip-flop. I didn't see anything in him that I thought, he's going to be a good player. I thought he'd be a championship player. I still don't know whether he's a top 4 player, but he's looking more and more like a Premier League player, that's for sure. And I really hope he's good. As for Pogba signing a new contract, well, Rance said that the other night. What I would say is, I just think with Pogba, we're doing a Ronaldo. We've basically said, look, we can't sell you. We will let you go next summer without any obstruction. As long as we get a fair price, we'll let you go. But we need 1 more year out of you. That's what I think is going to happen. And I'm very happy with that. And I'm very happy that Pogba will be professional and do his best. Having said that, you know what? Maybe that won't happen. Maybe it's all about a new contract. Or maybe we have a really good season and he thinks, you know what? I'm not sure I want to go to Real Madrid. I think there is something being built here and I want to be a part of it. So there are scenarios, but yeah, we'll see. Pogba will stay just like Dyer. That's a clear thing, says Sakin. There are a lot of people starting to think that. Paul Robinson says McSauce, needs to improve as a CDM. He plays easy football, easy to look good. And yeah, let's not forget. I mean, look, let's be honest. Last week, Chelsea could have beat us 2-0 as much as we won 4-0. The midfield got dominated a lot of the time. And yet we said McTominay and Pogba and Pereira had good games, but they did get dominated at times. And that's because we won the game 4-0. We said they played well. If we'd lost 2 or 3-0, we would have all said we lost the midfield battle, because at times we did. Football's very, very wafer thin. It can go one way, go the other. The only way to judge it is consistency, which is why nobody says they're going to win the league after one game. No one says they're going to get relegated if they lose their first 3, because you just don't know. It's consistency, and that's why this Wolves game becomes more and more important. Zidane won't last the year, says Fast Eddie. If Zidane leaves Real Madrid, where does Pogba go? That's a good point. Mark, why wasn't United stand? Peter, look, it's all about relationships and people you know. Doesn't matter whether you're the biggest United fan channel. Sometimes the door is locked because of little relationships and cliques that have been going around for years. It's the way of the world. It's the way of the world. It's like trying to get promoted at a job and they promote their mate instead of the best person for the job. It's life, you know. It's what it is. You just do your best. Which also I just want to say as well, anybody who's getting their results today, I think it's A-levels, is it GCSEs as well? Definitely A-levels. Look, well done to everybody who's done really well. I know Xander's got his thing in Salford, which is fantastic. If you've done well, you've done the work, absolutely fantastic. If you didn't do as well as you wanted to, I always say this because, and people say, oh, it's cringe and this, that and the other. You can only be what you are. And I would say, I left school at 16 with crap qualifications and pissed about until I was about 22, and then I started to sort my life out and worked hard and got into different professional jobs, etc. I'm not talking about United Stand or anything like that. I'm talking about my career. I've done some really good jobs, management, all sorts of stuff, and I didn't get an education. So you're not defined by what you do at 16, 18 or 21 in your studies. There's always time to write your own path, and it can be a good path. So look, I just worry about mental health and things like that, and I know people can really beat themselves up mentally when they don't do as well as they think they should do, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a voice that's a positive voice, and there's always a way to, I don't even say bounce back, there's just a way to take a punch on the chin or a knock, get up, dust yourself down and go again. It doesn't have to define you, trust me, it really doesn't. And I know loads of people like that. Wolves aren't even good. Look at them again. Lower their teams. They just park the bus, says Liam James. I've done all that, Liam, and it can bite you on the bottom. The Long Suck. I like the name, The Long Suck. I really like the name, The Long Suck, actually. I heard you were a bus driver, Mark, so respect, mate. Good career for a young guy. Nothing wrong with bus drivers, but I can categorically say I'm not a bus driver. Although it does make me think of a funny line from The Simpsons where Otto, the bus driver, is talking to Bart Simpson, who's failed his, he's struggling with some sort of exam. And he went, don't worry, Bart, exams don't define you, or words to that effect. Look at me, I failed all my exams. Now I drive the school bus. And Bart's just like, but nothing wrong with bus drivers. You know, they're going places. Thanks, Mark. Good advice, says Eddie Macy. Look, we're a football channel at the end of the day. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Please do smash a like on the video. We're very, very close to 535,000, so please do subscribe if you are new. If you enjoy what we do on the United Stand and you'd like to have a drink with us, you'd like to have a night with us, and Ryan Giggs, I should have said him first. Links in the video description. An evening with the United Stand and Ryan Giggs in October. It's in Birmingham. Plenty of time to get your hotel, your flight if you're flying in. It's going to be a brilliant night. An autumn night as well. We love autumn nights, don't we? And it's a night after a Europa League game as well. It's a Friday night. I must have said that. October the 25th, I think it is. Check the link. It's going to be a brilliant night. Suits, proper good night. You can get your photographs with me as well if you want. Yeah, really looking forward to it. We want as many of you as there as possible, because this is the community we're building. Last Thursday was brilliant. We've got a Christmas party planned as well. So yeah, get involved. Link in the video description. I'm back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. And yeah, looking forward to that Ryan Giggs event. So make sure that you join us for that. Link in the video description. Thanks for joining me tonight. Really good show. Nice to be back live. And look, bring on Wolves. Bring on Wolves. Let's knock their teeth out. So the only bite they've got is like a bloody basking shark. It doesn't hurt. They haven't got any teeth. See you soon.